its importance in the sense that it showed to the world what we were living in the everyday life. But for us, we didn't need WikiLeaks to know what's happening.
A great majority of people believed that Ben Ali and that system had been just students of American. And these leaks demonstrated that, first, USA doesn't care about that country. And for us, it was good news.
The US government's apparent indifference to Ben Ali's fate may have been only a small issue, but it added to an increasingly powerful tide of events against which the regime was now swimming.
Cette conjugaison des trois facteurs, de la contestation sociale, de la contestation politique et de la contestation des pratiques de corruption et des pratiques mafieuses, a connu un retentissement d'autant plus grand que le phénomène de la blogosphère et de la communication, des nouvelles technologies de la communication ont fait que ça a circulé de façon extraordinaire.
Tunisia was primed for revolution in December 2010, when Mohamed Bouazizi's act ignited it.
Mohamed Bouazizi étant devenu à juste titre un symbole de cette exaspération et de cette colère existant dans la population, nous le savions, on ne pouvait pas prévoir que ça allait prendre cette dimension.
One man's sacrifice may have begun the revolt against the regime, but it was the events that followed in nearby Gasserine, the town that had started Ben Ali's rise to power 27 years before, that would make revolution inevitable.
هي أن أرى شباب ولاية الجزرين مقنوص بالرصاص ومرخى على الأرض. ذلك المشهد الرهيب، مشهد لا يكاد يغيب عن عيني للحظة.
كانت الناس كلها تأسفت للمشهد هذا، وخاصة مشهد حرب. هي بالفعل حرب، وبالفعل مجزرة صارت في ولاية القصرين.
It was a revolution which ended half a century of autocratic rule and inspired a wave of public protest that swept across the Arab world.
Internet, Facebook, Twitter, they were not the revolution.
In an exclusive two-part documentary, Raghi Omar traces the roots and repercussions of this uprising and examines why 23 years of dictatorship fell in only 28 days. Episode 2 of The Death of Fear, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Homes have crumbled and many buildings have been left just empty shells.
Tensions are high. Riot police trying to control thousands of Greek protesters on the streets of Athens.
A British court has approved the go-ahead for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to be extradited.
The Gaddafi is waging a war against the Libyan people. They are killing civilians mercilessly. They're using ammunition, live ammunition.
On the next Rizkan show, celebrated and controversial French philosopher Bernard-Henri Lévy gives a first-hand perspective on the battle for Libya's soul. Rizkan, at this time on Al Jazeera.
From local traders to international finance, it's commerce that makes the world go round. For global companies and developing markets, communication is the currency, and information is the most valuable commodity. Counting the cost at this time on Al Jazeera.
Where decisions are being taken.
The most dramatic development since the end of apartheid.
Where history is being made.
Change has come to America.
Where forces collide.
This is in direct defiance of the military.
Al Jazeera.
From the ancient traditions of the written word to the power of photography and expressions of identity through dance, Art is a constant feature of the human landscape. An underground theater group fights for democracy. Blind musicians make their mark in Bangladesh. Palestinian teenagers develop a photography project with kids from the other side of the wall. Across the world, art transcends physical barriers. Artscape, at this time on Al Jazeera.
This is Al Jazeera.
Hello and welcome to the News Hour live from Doha. I'm Laura Kyle. From Al Jazeera News Centres here and in Washington, D.C., these are the main stories. Libyan rebels retreat from the oil town of Ras Lanuf as Muammar Gaddafi's forces step up their assault.
If they want to support the militia, do it. But I will tell you from now, you're going to lose. We will win. And we're not afraid.
The Libyan leader's son warns the rebels of even heavier counter-strikes to come. France and Britain come out fighting, saying Gaddafi must go and the EU should help the opposition rebellion.
Hello, I'm Daljit Dhaliwal in Washington. The top story from the Americas.
I think over the longer term that the regime will prevail.
The U.S. intelligence chief says Gaddafi will win, but a top White House official quickly dismisses his comments.
Also ahead, Saudi police open fire as protesters gather there. The call is out for even bigger rallies on Friday. International pressure is growing on Muammar Gaddafi's government, even as his military steps up counterattacks on rebel positions in the east of Libya. These are some of the latest diplomatic developments. Foreign ministers from Arab Gulf states have joined the international chorus denouncing the Libyan regime, saying it has lost its legitimacy. French President Nicolas Sarkozy has called the opposition National Council Libya's rightful government. The US Secretary of State will also meet opposition envoys. And whilst NATO ministers meeting in Brussels debate a no-fly zone, the Secretary-General says the world will not stand idly by if Gaddafi continues to attack his people. On the battlefield, however, the momentum does appear to be with Gaddafi's forces. The key city of AlJazeera, only 50 kilometers from Tripoli, has changed hands several times. The latest reports say Gaddafi's forces are in control, with witnesses reporting many casualties, including women and children. Meanwhile, in the rebel heartland of the east, warplanes have struck the oil hub of Brega on Thursday. Now, these were some of the scenes at the local hospital after one such strike.